Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the Groundswell Ecosystems YouTube channel. Everyday and systemic steps to an eco-positive groundswell. I'm Nicola Kench, and this is an activist's digital toolkit, digital literacy for civic engagement. Today, we're going to look at two skills. One is how to create an easily affordable, easily adaptable flyer, which is ultimately in JPEG photographic form so that you can share it online. But initially we create without any Photoshop, without any additional programs on your usual laptop. We start that off in Word, we turn it into a PDF, then we convert it online into a JPEG. So I've got a sample of how to do that. It will be on a shared folder and anybody can adapt that to your own purposes. Secondly, we're going to be looking at how to set up an online survey so that, again, that is in digital format. You just copy the link and you can share it as widely as you need. It will collect data for you. You can share it from individual to individual via email, copy the link, share it online, share it via WhatsApp, share it via text. Okay, so that we're collecting ground level data for what people feel and for what they think. We know that data counts. Yes. So those are the tasks we're going to be looking at today. I just want to quickly talk a little bit about the social context within which these tasks have been devised for an activist's digital toolkit. Right now in London, UK, South London, Lambeth Council has planned a 6 estates wide regeneration program costing 1.8 billion over 20 years. What regeneration means is it's the demolition of 6 beloved, structurally sound, perfectly efficient estates in their core sense. Yes, there's much to be worked on in terms of refurbishment and in terms of damage and neglect, but fundamentally, they are profoundly sound estates and they do not need to be demolished for any structural reasons. What is happening is that Lambeth Council, in exchange or with Homes for Lambeth, is actually going to be developing apparently 4,889 homes, right? Importantly, in terms of council housing, what will happen to council housing, affordable housing, housing that is generally round about the recommended 30% of the person working on an average London living wage in London, which will total up to be 1,600 take-home pounds, affordable rent for the capitalism's and London's working people. Social housing is not a liberal luxury, it is a critical necessity. And in terms of the so-called estates regeneration program, the amount of social housing, social level rent will be reduced by -30 in the so-called regeneration scheme. It must be added that 60% of these 4,889 new homes will, in fact, be sold on the open market. We must understand that London in the UK has got the highest incidence of open homes, empty homes. This is largely because the council takes publicly owned land, they sell it off in terms of these estate redevelopment programs, they sell it off on the open market, and international property speculators buy up these properties. They don't even bother to populate them, and then further down the line, they sell them obviously at a profit. It is a hideous indictment of the left, and it is a hideous indictment of our understanding, the left and the right. It is a hideous indictment of our understanding of the purposes of taxpayer money, that in fact, this program of regeneration is being allowed to go on, not unchecked, because there's been enormous amounts of activism around it, but certainly that the plan is still ongoing in Lambeth Council. It must also be stated that Lambeth Council has stridently declared a climate emergency. We need to understand embodied carbon in the light of demolition. A building's carbon footprint, 50% of that carbon footprint is created in the building of a building. That is in embodied carbon. Embodied carbon means all of the carbon dioxide that is generated simply from creating the building of that building. The mining of materials, the manufacturing, the transport, the building itself. All of these things are called embodied carbon, and 50% of a building's carbon footprint takes place in its building. Okay, it is not environmentally feasible, and by no stretch of the imagination is a 6 estates demolition program in line with the realities of climate emergency. It's simply unacceptable. 90% of buildings that we currently have will be in use by 2050. It sends a message loud and clear. What we do is we retrofit. So, of course, there's been much proposition about the need for retrofit and the need for refurbishment as opposed to demolition and the dire environmental carbon footprint of demolition. What is happening currently is that in so-called preparation for this estates regeneration program, Savills, the multinational property developing company, is doing an estates survey. Now, of course, the issue is, what are the parameters of this survey? What are going to be the outcomes of this survey? With the great fear that an unmonitored survey could result in saying, well, these properties are beyond repair. Of course, there's the attendant issue of, have these properties been allowed to go into disrepair to continue to justify the case for demolition? Nonetheless, what this whole an Activist's Digital Toolkit session today is about the opportunity to mobilize ground level data collection in the light of the current Savills survey of these estates in Lambeth in South London. Right. The idea is that a so-called counter survey is created, a survey monitor that in fact checks the results in real time digitally on literally a checkbox scenario as the Savills surveyor does the survey. I will share with you the outcomes first of what today's skills are, and then I will go through with you how to create these skills step by step. Please also bear in mind that this folder that I'm working from today is publicly available in the description box. The link is there. You can help yourself. It's literally publicly editable, publicly downloadable. Copy, paste, share, do what you like, edit these materials. These are core template materials. It is not that I'm prescribing the content of these things. It's that I've created templates for you to adjust for yourselves as you see fit. Okay, thank you so much. Let's start with a share. Right, so I'm going to start off with what I want my flyer ultimately to look like. So what I have here is I'm going to start off with the Word version of the flyer that I created. I'll get into this in a second. There's the Word version. Literally just did that. It's obviously two-sided. It's A4 split into two A5s, and I'll go into the content of that in a second. I'll also show you here that all of this text, right, I formatted it to retain the formatting, but all of this text here is entirely editable so that you can go onto that downloadable link, the open link. You can find this in Word form, download it for yourself and edit it as you see fit. Right, the next format, let me stop that share and do a new share. The next format I want to show you is, in fact, I actually turned that into a PDF. And then the next format I want to show you is that then I converted that into a JPEG. I'll show you how to do that as well. I converted that into a JPEG so that it's able to be shared online. Okay, let me stop that share, get up another one. I'm just going through this process. Here we are. Let me open this and let me open here. This is what eventually would be happening. Let me stop that share, start a new one. Excuse me. This is how we rock and roll. Right, here's this new share, which is a JPEG version. So there's side one. You can see that. That, in fact, is a photograph, and you can share that without any problem or any loss of formatting on the internet. Okay, that's actually page one. But of course, we've got page two as well. So you would just share them one after the other so that anybody who sees the flyer and needs to get the information will get it. They will see both sides. Okay, because it's saved as a photographic form. Right, let me stop that share. Okay, and now I'm going to show you what the survey looks like. All right, then I'm going to take you through the steps of how to use the Word flyer and how to convert it into photographic format. And I'll just walk through some of the text with the absolute proviso that it is down to you completely to edit this flyer as you see fit. I know that there's a number of excellent flyers out there already, but this is just to the end of being able to do a home print flyer for very little cost in small amounts if you need. Okay, let me stop that share and show you what the right. I want to show you the online survey. Right, here we go. Let me just go here. Excuse me. Right, online survey, and here it is. I've done my template. Let me open this up here. Right, now I'm just going to quickly do a preview to show you what it's going to look like. This is a housing survey monitor form. So literally this is a live electronic survey. So there's bits of stuff in here which I'll go through when I show you the system to create it. And then it literally just goes down and you can there are different ways that you can do answers. There are different formats. So there's short answer, long answer, multiple choice, tick box. There are various ways of doing this. And there you go. So you can fill that in and you literally just type it in as you go along. It is set to not take personal data for obvious data protection reasons. So there are no personal names in here, but you do have the option to put your name and email address down at the bottom. It does, if that's what you want, to be contacted by campaign organizers to get more directly involved. But there is no data collected, no personal names, no personal emails collected in the survey in the first place. Now, of course, once that's done, I'll show you, you basically come to your response tab and you start to have a look at that. But that's where we're going with this. Right, let me close that down. Now I'm going to start talking us through the flyer. Right. There we go. Where are we? Here we are in the Word. Okay. Let me just quickly reduce this a little bit. Yeah, just checking that it is sharing. Okay. Right. Reduce a little bit more. So what you see here is that this is an A4 sheet. And let me move that up. Excuse me. I'm just arranging my screen. This is an A4 sheet. What I've done here is I've obviously split it down halfway down, and I have done this all with various text boxes. I've put in an image. I have the image saved for you if you want to kind of play around with it. But this is really designed to be very, very, very simple. This is all in Word. So clearly this format is editable. Right, now I'll show you that in a second. There's page 2. It's designed to be printed two-sided. If you do have a printer that flips, you'll flip on the short side. If you don't have a printer that flips, obviously you just print out 20 of the one side or 50 of the one side, put it in again, make sure it's the right side. That can drive us all mad. All right, make sure it's the right side and then print it out again to pick up the other side. Right, okay, so there you go. And I just want to quickly talk through some of this. I have separated into 2 times A5. By the way, let me just quickly show you what it eventually looks like, because of course I've got my cut versions. Here is the double version, because of course you would print that out and then there you have it. All right, both sides. And then of course I cut it and you get a very, very, very simple but effective, quick flyer that you don't have to go through a printer and you don't have to pay the printer costs. Just a quick word about easy printing. I have got an old, much cherished Brother A3 printer, which I refitted with refillable cartridges. I spend about 15 quid a year on ink. Now, we know it's not advisable to print. We want to keep things in whatever format that is more eco-friendly. However, we also know that to mobilize the kind of engagement that we need, many times we do need that paper flyer. So just in terms of costs, just bear in mind that you can refit your printer with refillable inks. You just get them in bottles. In fact, I'm incredibly tempted just quickly to go and pick that up and show you. Excuse me. I became completely possessed by this at one point in time. Hold on. There you go. You just get these bottles, you check online on eBay, and you just check what is available for your printer type. Literally, it's because for environmental reasons, obviously these terrible ink cartridges, these are available for multiple printers. Right, let me carry on sharing the screen. Right, so here we are. Let's go back to the Word version. And you just fill them. By the way, it comes with like a syringe, and it's very, very easy, and they work very, very well. And you just fill up. So as I said, I spend about 15 quid a year on inks. A whole set of inks is just atrociously expensive and ridiculously non-eco savvy. Okay, so what I've done here is I've just done this in text boxes. Now, you might not be crazy about this formatting. You can push that around and play around with that if you want. So here, for example, I want to say, all right, welcome. And you can just obviously just click on it. Welcome to Lambeth Housing Estates, for example, and then you can edit that as you please. Now, I'm actually just going to undo that. Wait a second. Let me undo that. Right. So all I'm saying is that effectively I'm saying this is available for you to edit as you see fit. Mine is not necessarily a final version. These are all text boxes. I called it the survey monitor. I'll just quickly go through some of this text with you. I said Savills multinational property developers in partnership with Lambeth Council and Homes for Lambeth are surveying Lambeth housing estates, gathering potential evidence for the case for demolition of these estates, your homes. So effectively it's going, this is a survey monitor. Local housing campaigners have developed an online digital survey for you to use in real time as the Savills surveyor surveys your property, home and estate. It is designed to represent the concerns of tenants and council homeowners. There is no personal data collected unless you choose to enter your email address to be contacted by campaigners later. Right. We know that in the now this is these, by the way, are all just different text boxes. The same rules apply. You just click on it to edit it according to what you want. I've kept this a very, very simple kind of generic statement, right? We know that this is the yellow bit. We know that in the Lambeth Council, Homes for Lambeth Estates regeneration plans, 6 estates will be demolished, building 4,889 new homes, 60% for sale on the open market. There will be a reduction of minus 30 council level rent homes in total. All of this, according to Lambeth Council, to service the 30,000 strong local housing list. How is this possible? Follow the digital link below to take part in this survey. Please, let me make that clear. That is for the electronic version. If you choose to send out the survey via WhatsApp, okay, clearly that is meant for that version, all right? So that you send the digital survey, you send the digital flyer, the JPG version, along with the survey link underneath, okay? But if you're just going to hand this out to people, it would have a different meaning here, which I'll show you. Follow the digital link below to take part in this survey, or contact your local campaigning link on this number to get the link. Now, the idea there is, of course, that you can just add in your own number, excuse me, 01234 put that down the next line. You can add in your own number, all right, if you want to be contacted by your fellow estates residents to give them the link digitally for the online survey. So hopefully it covers all eventualities then. Right, I'm just going to take that out because the idea there is you put in your own number if you want to use this flyer, and that is adaptable for anybody. Right, so here we go. This is done landscape, two-sided. I've separated it out, and there you go. So if you want to just change it and say, for example, you change the text here, you just copy and paste it and put it in there as you please. So that's ready. Now what we do, okay, is we go here, right? I'm just going to stop this share. In fact, no, I'm going to keep this share going, and I'm going to say what we do now is we go File, Save As. Now, this is how you're going to turn it into an electronic version. You save it as a PDF, right? And I've already got it here. So I'm going flyer, what is Savills doing? I save it there. I'm going to replace that one. Doesn't matter. It's read only because it's got the same name. Don't worry about that. Let me just close this down, and I'll don't save. Right. Let me just do a new screen share to show you with this PDF. Now I've saved it as a PDF. The reason for that, all right, is because you save the formatting. If you share digitally a Word flyer from one computer to the other, you tend to lose formatting because different computers have got different versions of Word, different font versions, etc. So you basically, it's a portable download file PDF. Okay, So let me just check that I'm sharing this. I've just got to check it's got the green line. Yeah, that's it. Right. Okay. So here we go. So here it is in PDF version. So it's going to retain its formatting. But the problem is with that is that if you share that online, it won't be directly visible. You'll just see a little PDF and you won't be able to see the visuals of it. So now what we're going to do, and I'm going to do a new share for this. Excuse me. So I'm going to stop this share and I'm going to show you how to convert this into a photograph, right? And then how to chop that up on any PC. No Photoshop needed. These are ground level digi hacks for eco engagement. Right. I'm going to stop the share. I do a new share here and I'm going to go online. Right. Excuse me. Right. Let me just check that I'm green. Yes, I'm green. Excuse me. Right. Sorry, sometimes there's a bit of a kerfuffle with this. Okay, so I'm going to go here and I'm going to go again, check it's green. Yes, we're all good. Right, it's not just the screen, it's the whole app. Okay, fine. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to go PDF to JPG converter. Free, right? So what happens is I have one I like to use. A lot of them, they say they're free and they're not that free at all. So the one that I like to use is PDF to JPEG. It's PDF numbered to JPEG, JPG.net. In fact, I must make a note because I will record that in the description box. It will be in the description box. Okay, so here we go. So what we're going to do here is we're going to choose a PDF file, right? And I'm going to, right, excuse me, and I'm going to go here to an ACTIVIST'S DIGITAL TOOLKIT. Excuse me. Right, sessions, right, there we go. All right, so here is the PDF, right, found the PDF, right, and now I want to choose that I want to go to excellent quality. So we're going to convert the PDF to the JPEG, right, and it's totally free. So we got the option here to view, download, crop and resize. Of course, you can crop it here right now, which is great, very useful. All right, or you can download and chop it yourself, right? So we're going to view. And that is what we're going to be seeing, which is the Savills flyer, but now in a photographic version, right? Super useful because that's what we need to share it digitally, right? We can also crop and resize right here. I have downloaded. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, let's look at the option, close. So here what we want to do is we want to just retain, we can actually do this online, which is great. We want to just retain the 1/2 because we don't want 2. We want to just see only what we need to see. So there we go, crop image, cropping the image. And now we're going to download it. Okay. Right, I'm going to open it. And there is our photograph. I'm not sure that that is sharing. I'm going to have to do a new share for that. Just give me a second. Right, here we go. That is now, there you go. That is now cropped. Okay, I have that from Word version. It's now cropped. Oopsie, excuse me. Sorry, let me bring that up again. Right. I have that now from Word version to PDF. Convert to JPEG. I'll put the one that I really like for the PDF converter to JPEG. I'll put that down in the description box. Sorry, I do repeat myself a little bit during these sessions. And the reason for that is because sometimes somebody can think, oh, what was that? And then I think, okay, that's a key detail. So I will repeat it a few times. Okay, so just, you know, I can't, it's sometimes people are ahead skills wise, sometimes people aren't. And I have to try and cater for as many people as possible. Right, so here we go. And there it is in digital version, right? Okay, and of course you would have that in your saved version. Let me just do a new screen share here to show you what I actually have, which is here, right? That is all my stuff, and this is where my final versions are. Let me do a new share. My final version here. And of course, I call it something correct. So I go flyer, what is Savills doing, page 1, so that the people who see it or pick it up will see that. And then here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a new share here. And this is, I rename it flyer, what is Savills doing, page 2. Okay. And of course, I've done already some prints of this and multiple prints can be done. literally just for me, the price of paper and 15 quid a year for inks. So it's really useful when you just need to get stuff done. Okay. I know that, you know, printed flyers are great. They look better and all of that sort of thing, but sometimes you just need to get stuff done. Right. So I'm going to close that down. So if you can just see that again, that whole process is, it starts with, let me just close this share so you can see the folder. I want to just show this folder here, which will show everything. Right, can you see that folder? I know you can because it's all green around the edge. So what we have here, let me put it down here onto extra large icons. Extra large icons. There we go. So what you will see here is you will see it started off in a Word version. I saved it as a PDF version. I go online and I convert it. Actually, what I did is I converted it and saved it like that. But of course, you can actually just crop it online, and then eventually what you will end up having is page 1, flyer what is Savills doing, page 1, flyer what is Savills doing, page 2, and you can share that electronically, you know, digitally on the web. You can share that via Facebook, whatever you need, particularly via WhatsApp. Okay, if you need to obviously connect with your community. Okay, right. So that's really our first thing, which is the word flyer. I will timestamp everything. So if anybody needs to go back, you will see where to go. All right. Thank you so much. Right. Let's start having a look right now at the folder, or at least certainly at how to actually create a digital survey in the first place. I've shown you my final version of the template, which again was totally available to you online. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to quickly stop this share, and I'm going to show you what do we do when you're just starting to create your own digital survey. So let me go here to share, and I want to go to the internet. There we are. Right now, by the way, very important. Anybody, now there are multiple ways to do this. You can do this through Microsoft, you know, Office, etc. But I do it via Google because I use my Groundswell Ecosystems at gmail.com, which is my kind of generic sort of dump email for all my data and all my folders, shared folders, etc., other than my own personal one, which is Nicola Kentrick, groundswellecosystems.com. So here I want to just go back. Anybody, let me just you know, make this very clear. Anybody with a Gmail address will have access to a full online drive. Incredibly useful for activists and for organizers. So say, for example, here I go to my Gmail. Yeah, this is just showing me my Gmail, right? And then I go here and I go and I have a look. Here's my drive. There's multiple things there, right? Here's my drive. I'm going to quickly open up an ACTIVIST'S Digital Toolkit, and I'm going to go here. This is the folder that I set to share. So I've just set the permissions to share. Now, here are my templates, all right? Templates and copies for you to play around with, all right? I've done one template, which is my basic one, but if you want to leave that template so that others can play with it, there are copies here for you to play around with as well. So I'm just going to show you what you're going to do if you want to go, right, I want to throw out everything that Nicola's done, and I'm going to set up my own, survey, right? So you just right click and you go here and you will get to Google Forms. This is Google Forms creates digital surveys. So say, for example, here, create in a shared folder. Yes, because I've already set the permissions to share. And this will bring up this, okay? It will bring up this. Now I'm going to just call this here, so that actually you have this for yourselves in case anybody wants to just mess around and experiment with it. And then I can take you through what I've done with my template. So I'm going to say here, practice survey. Practice survey tester, right? So this is what you'll land up with. This is what you'll start to see. Form description. This is a practice survey for anyone to test these methods with, right? Okay, and then of course we start with our questions. Just a quick word, if anybody ever wants to preview, there's a little eye here and you will go and you'll see what it's going to look like if somebody else sees it. All right, that's great. So I'm going to go just close down the preview. It will take you back to where you were. All right, so there are loads of things here. Just quickly, you'll get your responses there. You'll get your settings here. And this is where you can set your privacy settings in terms of your defaults and, you know, do you have to, get information, are you going to require emails? The default is set that they don't require emails, which is great. So we're going to go here, question 1. All right. Okay. Do you use JPEGs? This is ridiculous because everybody does. Everybody does. Okay. Digital photos. Okay. All right. Silly. And I'm going to go here. Right. So we got here this drop down. You can add in a photograph. So I might want to go, let me browse and add in a photograph, and I might want to open that. All right. So it's going to show it within that question. Right. There we go. Or it might show that. You don't even need that necessarily there. Remove. Okay, just to show you if you want to put in a photograph, that's also possible. And you can also align it around, right? But not necessarily intends to be maybe more compass than that's needed. Okay, right. But it's quite nice for logos, right? It can be quite nice for logos, right? At that point. So do you use JPEGs, right? Digital photos. So we've got various options here. We've got a short answer. Somebody can type in what they type in. All right. Okay. They get a paragraph, longer answer. You get multiple choice. Option 1. Yes. Add an option. No. Okay. Please don't worry about this. If you're thinking, oh, get away from me. All right. I've created this for you. So it's already set up, but I just want to show you the editing process without editing the one that I edited. This is your play around one. Okay. So that's great. Do you use JPEGs? If you want to bin it, that's great. If you want to make sure that everybody answers that question, there you go. So there we go. So you don't answer that. Yes, of course. Then we're going to go, we want a new question. I always I like to number them. So it kind of gives people a sense of where they are. Do you use JPEGs or digital photos? Okay. Would you use a survey for ground level activist purposes or for ground level activism? Question. I would. Right. We've done multiple choice, and let's do check boxes. We can go here. No. Yes. Never. If I was taught. Okay, so you can tick as many as you like, and then you want to say add other. All right, and that means that you can click on that in your answer and type in other. Right, so let's do another question. I'm just showing you the various formats. This is question 3. Right, I'm going to answer this as well, by the way. There's a file upload, so you can get a file up there. There's a drop down, all these multiple things. You've got multiple ways of seeing things. All right. So I'm going to say here, all right, do you use refillable ink? Oopsie, spelling, ink cartridges. Right. So I'm going to say here, we want to go a paragraph about that one because it's a great topic. Right. Quickly here in terms of the formatting, you can, of course, change there's our samples, right? You can just literally play around. Just a quick thing here. If you want to add another one, there's your plus add. These are all the different options for you. Okay. Remember, I've set one up for you that you can use or just edit some of the basics. If you want to format, you don't like the color. Right. Let's go. Okay. You can put a header image in. There's loads of options here. Let's change it to red, or let's change it to blue. Okay. And we want to do the background. We want dark background, light background, whatever suits you. If you've got a campaign, which is, tends to be green or whatever it is, then there you go. Okay. As you please. And of course you can obviously, I don't know why I didn't, oh, there it's green. Okay. So you can, and you can upload your flyer as well. It's all good. All right. You can upload your logo is what I mean. Okay. So there we go. So that's how we would do it. Now I'm going to actually respond to this. So here we go. Here's the sample, and I'm going to go, do you use JPEGs? Yes. Would you use a survey for, I would say definitely yes. Do you use, I want to talk about this a lot. Yes, you just fill it in. All right. And of course you can do that on your phone as well. You can do it in any digital format. All right. It's just literally web-based. All right. It's connected to my Gmail address. All right. So submit. Right. So response has been recorded. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to check the responses. And of course there's one response. And now it starts to tabulate everything, and you can start to see this, right? Because it does it digitally for you. So you can start to collect the data. So what you see here is I'm going to do it actually again, so we can start looking at the difference in the data. Let me do another one. So I'm going to do difference. No. If I was taught, I'm changing this. Do you use refillable? Never. Why would I? Never. So I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you multiples of different types of stuff. So I'm going to go here and we're going to see, yeah, there are 2 responses, all right? So that I was just answering it myself in preview version to test it. Now I'm going back into the original control screen. And remember that this I is where you get to preview it. You click on that and you'll get the way where you can actually fill that out, okay? Right, so here we go. I want to look at the responses and we've got 50-50. Yeah. Yes, and you've got here, this is all starting to be collected. All right, and these are the answers. Okay, so you can literally collect responses. It will be collated for you digitally, and you can start to gather that data. It will also graph that data for you. Okay, I cannot stress this enough. Like we have got to gather data, in my opinion. All right. We've got to represent the concerns of people, not just in rhetoric, but in literal data. As we know, now I'm speaking to seasoned campaigners, no doubt. So you're just going to get away from me. Okay, that's fine. I get it. I get a bit enthused about this. Please forgive me. But we know that on inspection, for example, of Homes for Lambeth data, the data doesn't add up. The numbers don't add up. The numbers are horrific once you look into it. You scratch the surface of the rhetoric of, all the greenwashing and all the kerfuffle, and you discover these things don't add up. And we've got to start creating data that adds up by way of return. Right. So that is a sample one. And I'm just going to go back to this folder and I'm going to go here. All right. I'm going to close it down. This is the practice survey tester. All changes are saved in the drive. I'm going to close that down. Close down the fact that look, remember as well, when I submitted, there was no personal data collected. Zilch, nothing. I've not set it for personal data. What happens is if you do there's an option on the template that I've created to record personal detail, but it's by choice. Totally by choice. You have to fill in on a long form, okay? Long type answer. You can set the survey so that somebody has to fill in their emails, but of course people don't want to do that. All right, that's absolutely fine. Okay, so we go here, and this is the control version, and then there's multiple options here for settings. All right, so I'm going to go back here, and I'm just going to quickly refresh this so it comes up. Yeah, there we go. Practice survey tester. So it's here for you to play around with. All right. Absolutely play around with that one. That's in the description box accessible folder. Play around with it as much as you want. Okay, so that you can make mistakes. Remember, digitally, so what? You just undo the step. Okay, so now what I want to show you, I'm going to be working off this template to go through the questions so that you understand exactly how I framed it. You might go, no, that's rubbish. You want to change it. Help yourselves, please, right? Always defer to those on the ground, okay, who are more directly involved in this, right? So here we go. It's copy 1, copy 2, copy 3. If you want to take that, by the way, what you would do there is you would log in with your Google. You would, or it's open access. You would, because I've said it to anybody can download. So that you can't download these surveys, but if you open up your Google at the same time and follow the link, you will be able to copy and paste the survey into your own Google folder or into your own Google account so that you can collect responses for yourselves. All right. I can always send the responses to you, and I can always just copy and paste it to you so that you can pick it up at any time. But of course, if you want it for yourself to monitor, all right, so that obviously I'm not going to give my login for my account, just copy and paste it. All right. Copy and paste it because I've set it to be totally edited into your own Gmail drive. Okay, right. So let's have a look here at what I have done here. Right. Now, the idea with this is that this is not a comprehensive housing survey by way of rebuffing the work of Savills. What it is it's an outline monitoring of their intentions, their transparency, their protocol with contacting people, and the types of issues that they are starting to identify. Because, of course, the big concern is that they are going to inflate repair issues to create a so-called case for demolition. Sorry, excuse me. Right. So this is the housing survey monitoring form, and I've done it very generically. Recording the purposes, parameters, and potential outcomes of council estates housing surveyors. This survey is created by local housing campaigners, XXX. You can fill in your own campaign if you want, specific to your own, it could be whatever the different campaigns are for different council estates. XXX to collect and record the housing estate survey process in the defence and protection of residents and community interests. Should you wish to contribute, please share by passing on this link to those who are affected by the housing estates programs. There is no personal data collected, but outcomes of collated responses will be shared via the local campaigning group media streams, as in results will be collated. All right. Please feel free to contact the organizers, the campaign name, of course, if you want to put that in so that you make yourself accessible to people who would wish to join you and support you. Thank you. And I'll just put hashtag housing for all. Right. Which company is doing this surveying? Now, say, for example, let's take, for example, my sample example here, which is the current situation with Savills. Clearly Savills. Maybe they subcontracted a surveyor. You would put that in there. It's a short answer text. Which company organization are they doing the surveying for? I would assume Homes for Lambeth and Lambeth Council, right? Which housing estate is being surveyed? For example, we could go Central Hill estate. What is the time period for the estate survey? So when does it begin and end? Okay. Right. In general, what is the time period? How long do they expect to be doing this? Because that kind of information will help your colleagues on the ground, will help your fellow residents, right? Today's date. Now, each one of these I've set as mandatory. I put the red star on them. But really, if you want to write in something and say, I don't know, that's absolutely fine. It's easier to record. It's better to record a response of I don't know than no response. Okay. What is the declared purpose of this survey? And obviously you're going to check with them and you're going to go, the declared purpose is to check for buildings quality, buildings efficiency, buildings standards, the whole works. What is the housing estate due for? Now you've got three options there, four actually: sustainable retrofit, refurbishing, or demolition. We know they're due for demolition. Or they could be for multiple options. So if it's other, you put that in and then you type in the options. It could be refurbishment and some rebuilding. Okay. Add-ons. What is the date for intended works approximately? Obviously, this is all just kind of keeping everybody in the framework. These are just parameters. Does the company, because apparently what came up is that there was quite a bit of inconsistency between the surveys. And what we want to check is we want to check to the extent of that inconsistency. Does the company surveying have a full and published sustainability strategy? And again, any company or any organization right now that is actually, I'm sorry, it really is this simple. Any organization right now that is planning to demolish 6 estates does not have a real sustainability policy. Sorry, everybody. So we have to ask about it. We have to ask about it on a mandatory level, right? It has to be done. If yes, where can this be sourced? And please don't make it half, a couple of paragraphs on the internet, which reads like, Lord of the Rings fan fiction, please. Seriously. Like, it's nonsense. Okay. If no, why not in the light of climate emergency when the built environment counts for 40% of all emissions? Precisely. And that might be really tough on that surveyor because they might not even have those frames of reference. And again, why not? Right. When we get to the end of this video, I'll talk about the big picture regarding statistics for the power generated and, energy carbon trail of the built environment and why we simply cannot get away from the critical importance of putting sustainability at the heart of our approach to building, which is exactly what the United Nations has declared is as strictly necessary. Okay. If no, why not in the light of climate emergency when the built environment counts for 40% of all emissions? Number 12, is it on record that the company has explored all sustainable retrofit options prior to demolition? Interesting. Number 13, if yes, where are these records to be obtained? Number 14, tick which elements of this property have been surveyed and for which evidence was found of disrepair, damage, building concerns. Okay, so say, for example, and I've put in here structure, roof ceilings, walls, floors, doors, windows, electrical system, heating system, water system. Please add other. Apparently they're looking at, you know, shower systems, water system, right? So just put that in, please, with other, all right? And of course, that's entirely editable. Use one of the copies and edit it entirely for your purposes. 15, please specify details of the elements checked above regarding this property. So say, for example, they say, we found disrepair in the doors, right? You write down here. So say, for example, I'll do a preview of this. I'll do an actual preview, right? So say, for example, here we go. We found elements of the doors have got of decaying, right? Or they're not efficient, or they don't close properly, all right? In summary, what are the buildings concerns the surveyor has defined in this survey pertaining to the entire council estate? Now, again, I don't know, okay? So what are the general issues? Why are you surveying? Is it the structure? What is it? There's multiple things here, okay? Again, walkways, green areas, communal areas, children's play areas. Is there a problem? Right. 17, please specify details of the elements checked above regarding the survey of the entire estate. Okay. Will the outcomes of this survey be open to public perusal? They really should be. Is people's homes? If no, why not? If yes, when and in which format? Again, if they say, I don't know, which is completely unacceptable, record, I don't know. Surveyor says, I don't know, so that we can track what kind of ground level information these surveyors are bringing to the table. Okay. Any other comments from surveyor? Confirmation of the surveyor appointment process. Has the surveyor, okay, the appointment process means basically, did they give enough notice? What is it? What is the notice period for booking an appointment? Did the survey, what is that process from according to the surveyor? We need to know that on record. Okay. Has this, so it could be a 48-hour long notice period, or it could be an appointments process. They can't just knock on your door and come in. Okay. Has the surveyor followed this process? Yes or no? But as a tenant or homeowner, number 24, do you support the planned outcomes of this survey for your property estate, be that retrofit, refurbishment, or demolition? Retrofit, yes. Retrofit, no. There are various options there. They cover all of those. And of course, there's also other. 25, any further comments from the tenant and homeowner? Number 26, tenant, homeowner, please include, if you wish, your contact details if you'd like to be contacted by the campaign organizers to speak further on these issues. Thank you. And of course, what they do there is you can add in, if you are going, right, I am not currently involved, but I want to be involved. This is my name, my phone number, my address, whatever that person wants to submit, they choose to submit. It could just be their name and their phone number, but nobody has to submit any personal details unless they want. Right. Let us go. And let us do a preview. Okay, so we go here, which company is doing this survey? So I'm going to go Savills. All right, which company are they working for? I'm going to go Homes for Lambeth. This is just Homes for Lambeth, Lambeth Council. Right, which housing estate is being surveyed? Okay, so say, for example, it could be Central Hill Estate. You know, remember, this is just a sample. What is the time period for this date? I'm going to say 3 months. Okay. All right. So I'm going to say till, well, that's quite long, 3 months. So maybe 2 months, but quite a lot to do. 2 months till September 2022. Today's date, and today's date happens to be the 29th of the 7th. Oopsie, 22. What is the declare? To check for buildings, quality, efficiency, disrepair. Okay. What is the housing due for demolition? Yeah. What is the date of the intended work? So say, for example, I think it could be 2024. You know, that's some of those things are moot as well. Does the company surveying have, oh, right. So let's say yes. Okay. Where can it be sourced? So let's say here, let's go. I know we've got Savills Earth. I have checked the Savills sustainability policy, and again, it was quite a vague thing. But I know that Savills Earth exists, for example. Okay, if no, why not? Okay, fuller. So we could say here, fuller policy to be published. So I'm just trying to think of sample answers that you might have to encounter. Published. Is it on record that the company has explored No. All sustainable retrofit options prior to demolition. If yes, where are these NA? Where are these records to be obtained? Not applicable. Just put NA, not applicable. Check which elements of this property have been surveyed and for which evidence was found of disrepair, damage, building. So let's say water system, and let's say windows, and let's say doors. Right. So what you would do here is you would go water system, leaking taps, leaking boiler, for example. Right. New line, windows, mold, not fitting properly, no double glazing, for example. So you're going to list what the issues are. Water, and then doors, not fitting properly, unsafe locks, for example. All right, I'm just putting that in there, for example. Right. In summary, what are the building's concerns the surveyor has defined in the building, the survey pertaining to the entire country? So we could say roofs, they're moldy and they're falling apart. Walls. So I'm going to say here, say, for example, they want to say here, roofs. I'm going to say disrepair, leaky, danger. And I'm going to say here, the other one I pulled up was walls, mold, disrepair, and not fully insulated, for example. Will the outcomes of the survey be open to public perusal? No. If not, why not? They're probably just going to say, I don't know. They're going to say confidential business information. Who knows? Okay. If yes, NA. Right. Any further comments from the surveyor? I'm going to say attempting to work in public interest. Confirmation of the surveyor, 48 hours notice, 48 hours. Let's say, for example, here it's 48 to 72 hours notice, please. I don't know the exact process, so you have to check that. Has the surveyor followed this process? No. As a tenant homeowner, I say yes to retrofit, I say yes to refurbishment, and I say no to demolition. And I also say yes to infill, meaning we can build on. We're good with building on. Any further comments? Demolition is unacceptable. Oopsie, spelling. Acceptable in the light of climate. Oopsie. Excuse me, I can't spell roughly. Generally, I can. Right. And then, of course, you might want to say Jane, name, Jane Doe. And you might going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 8, 9, 9, 7, 9, 9. You might want to give a number. So I don't want to do a Jane Doe, but there we go. And then it's just a question of submitting. I'm going to submit it. Right. And now we're going to go back. That's submitted. And I want to go look at the responses. And there we go. Right. There we go. Okay. Check for buildings. There we go. Demolition. This will all start to be tabulated. And you can start to see the discrepancies. Because what will happen is all, for say, for example, for question, let's quickly do this again. I know you're probably getting a bit tired of this, but I want to just do it again. Because I want to just quickly go through the first few questions. And I want to say the company doing this is, I'm going to make up some name, Surveyors Inc. Which company? They're working for Cambridge. I want to show you what happens here with the multiple. Cambridge Council. Which housing estate? Myersfield. Right. So let's go and submit this right now. Now they're mandatory, so I'm just going to click anything for the rest. Okay, I promise you, I'm just going to click anything and just do anything because these are just samples. I'm just doing this to show you that all the way that the different answers will be collected. Right. Okay, it's just so that I can submit it. Right, submit. Oh, sorry. Right. Submit. Stop it. Today's date. Oh, today's date. Excuse me. 29.7/2022. Right. Yes, sorry. I do know how to do this form. Right. Submit. declared purpose, check buildings efficiency. Sorry. Right, so we go back here, and now we've got 2 responses. But look at what is happening here, is that you can see it literally, it won't separate out the responses. It collates them immediately. Which company is doing this surveying? I've got 2 responses, Savills and Surveyors Inc. Good. Shows up any inconsistencies. Which company, organization are they doing the surveying for? Homes for Lambeth, Lambeth Council, Cambridge Council, written right there. So we can see the discrepancies. Right? It's collected without personal data, but you can see those discrepancies, which is what we want to see. Which housing estate is being surveyed? The 2. If you want to do a separate survey for a separate estate, that's not a worry at all, because of course, I've got all these multiple copies, and you can just rename that, and you can just say Myatt's Field, for example. You can just go Myatt's Field, and that's the survey for Myatt's Field, for example. Okay, you just change it as you need. Let's go back here. Responses, which housing estate? 2 months, and of course I just put in my nonsense responses here. Today's date. That's declared purpose. Check for buildings, quality, efficiency, disrepair. It will all just automatically collate, so you can get really good ground level information about what Savills found in general, because the criteria remain consistent. Yeah. So, and again, there's also space for other. So it will literally just collate. It will monitor the Savills surveying process and across an entire estate, find out what Savills found out and collate what people felt about that. Okay. Any other comments from the homeowner? Including that also needs to be a case here. Any other, I just want to put that in actually. Any other comments from the homeowner, including own requests, including own repair requests. Okay. Yeah, very important. Actually, I've just made that edit right now, so that the homeowner can be saying, we want the geyser, we want the boiler fixed. Okay. All right. We don't want this demolished. We want the boiler fixed, so that we can find out, how many boiler problems are there on that estate? That's the key issue. That's not a structural issue. Okay. That's a water systems issue and a heating systems issue. Right. Anyhow, so there we go. I've just edited that. So that's great. So there we go. That's how it works. Exactly. Okay, I'm going to go back to the folder here. This is all ready and available for you. Remember, of course, let me just quickly stop the share. It's all ready and available for you. But remember that it is on my Gmail address, which is fine, but it's not you. For you to copy and paste that one, look at this. You would, let me just share the screen again. You would go here and you would go, where is it? Here we go. Let me open that share. You would log in, right, with your own Gmail. You would follow the link that's sent to you, right? You can email it to yourself as well. And you're going to just go make a copy. And when you make a copy, all right, it comes up as a copy. And then what you want to do is you want to move it, okay? And you want to move that so that it comes onto your own folder if that's what you want. I don't mind you using this. I just think it might be easier for you in terms of login purposes, because you only get access to the settings and the controls and the responses if you have created it, if it's from your own Gmail address. So please just copy and paste it. Okay, let me stop that share again. I just want to say a quick word for when you do copy and paste the quiz, the survey down into your own drive so that you can manage those responses that come in. You must change the permissions so that not anyone can edit. They need to be restricted so that people can view the link, but they can't edit it. I'm sharing it with you as fellow surveyors so that you can edit. Once you have it on your drive, you've got to limit the permissions so that the people who use the survey and respond to the survey when you share it in the community are not set to edit mode. Not about restricting them. It's because they'll have multiple options when they try to just answer the survey if they pick it up on their phone. So restrict the options at that point. Just right click on the link where you have your own copy of the survey and check the settings. Okay. and the person who uses it right on the front line will be actually not editing it, and they'll just be able to use it properly. Okay, thank you. Right, in terms of, so I've gone through all of that. I'm sorry if these things seem lengthy. It's kind of one of those ones, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If you give too little information, what's the point? Too much information can drive people mad. So I will timestamp it. And I hope for, everything that I do online and on YouTube, I intend to always create as a permanent resource, so that I don't kind of do one thing 5 times. I do it once and then that is covered. So I'd like to really be as comprehensive as possible. I just want to quickly just put the context for the built environment and climate change back into context. Okay. 75% of global emissions come from the energy sector. Yeah. Okay. Of all of the energy generated globally, by the way, my statistics come from Our World in Data, a brilliant data site, largely free. In fact, I think it is completely free. Please correct me if I'm wrong. It's a brilliant data site, Our World in Data. And 75% of global emissions come from the energy sector. Yeah. Of all of the energy generated on this planet, 80% is still generated from fossil fuels. That is an unacceptable figure. Okay. Yeah. On top of that, the built environment accounts for 40% of all emissions. If we do not have, and if local councils, with the enormous amount of drawdown money they have from central government, if they do not demonstrate and directly embody an actual, real, meaningful, uncompromising climate emergency policy that accounts for all as well, all right? Sustainability is affordability. If that isn't done, we simply are staring down the barrel of a gun with our eyes closed. Yeah. So all of this stuff is about trying to raise counter data to support the case, to stop the demolition, the ridiculous, appalling, terrible demolition of these 6 estates in South London. But of course, these skills are also designed. The quick word flyer, I can print out a stash right now at home, ready to go, and literally go do a tour of the estate, hand out the flyer, say, would you like me to send you the WhatsApp link with the digital survey, or you can refer them to your website if they don't want to give you their number, or you can just put your number at the bottom. They can pass it on to somebody else. Okay. So that we have ways of collecting counter data that show up inconsistencies, inefficiencies, and just plain strangenesses about creating a case for demolition, which is not justified. Okay. I think I said a few times, I'm sorry it's so long. As I said, I like to keep things permanent. I like to do things on a permanent basis so that I do it once. So I've tried to be as comprehensive as possible. There will be timestamps down below. Thank you for watching. I'm Nicola Kench. This is an Activist's Digital Toolkit, how to create an easy flyer in Word at home, how to create a digital survey online and share for ground level data collection. An Activist's Digital Toolkit, digital literacy for eco-engagement. This is the Groundswell Ecosystems YouTube channel, everyday and systemic steps to an eco-positive groundswell. There is always a way. Shine the green light, and every action counts. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, hit the bell to get all the notifications. Subscribe, like, share, and let's mobilize. Every single one of us on this planet is important. Thank you then. Take care. Every action counts.